On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
And we are here for all the divas and darlings out there.
All the divas and darlings, and I cannot even explain to you guys the excitement that I am feeling today, because in T-minus 24 hours, Spencer and I will be together for essentially a week and a half.
Oh, you guys are going to be sick of us.
Sick of us. Spence, I cannot wait. I miss you so much.
I miss you so much.
I just need my girly. Need my girly girl.
And I'm here. And I'm ready and willing. And the best part is, we get 2 weeks in a row pretty much. You'll be here in Tennessee, and then you go home. You get like 48 hours to recoup. And then I'm coming out to LA, and we are just getting back to it.
Oh, I love it. We get the best of both worlds. We get the beauty of Tennessee, and we are going to go to the Opry. We're going to go to Graceland, which you'll hear about in the next episode, I'm sure.
Yes.
And then we get to just be wild in LA.
And go to Disneyland.
Oh, we're going to be filming a lot of things. Maybe, starting. Well, we already talked about it. We already
talked about it. Yeah. So by the time this comes out, that will have already dropped. But I'm so excited because part of the reason that I'm coming out to LA is because we wanted to record the first episode of Gossip's Bridal together, just IRL, give it that movie magic and love. So we're working on that right now. But yeah, I really, really am so excited for you guys to get here. You and Alyssa are coming out. And we're just going to be having a good old time out here.
I've already asked you today. I was like, should I get little Dakota Johnson bangs? You're like, she is my celebrity girl crush. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did genuinely forget it. I just feel like her, like on TikTok, I keep getting fed her a lot. Maybe
probably because of me.
Probably because of you. And I'm like, damn, like maybe I need some bangs for this forehead. But you were like, please do not experiment before showing up. Please.
I was like, we have a bunch of shit to film the next 2 weeks.
That's
so
true.
Maybe, or I'll do it for you. Maybe I'll give you some bangs when you're out here. Maybe we could do that.
Okay. All right.
I know my way around.
Also, yes, you do. You've always done my hair.
Uh-huh.
And everybody else's hair. But what's really exciting is that you are no longer younger than me.
Just a little, but
a few
we are the same age right now. I did happen to turn 35 yesterday, in fact.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh, I was getting emotional before we sat down to start recording. My dad had like overnighted a birthday card, and it got here today.
Oh.
And I opened it, and it was like cute, just a really sweet card. I mean, my dad's the best. He's always so like, we're so proud of you, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
But he wrote at the end of it, because it is a Snoopy card, and he wrote at the end of it, he's like, my mom and dad always gave me a Snoopy card. And I was like,
I love Snoopy, but I also love just a tradition.
Speaking of, my sister gave me a really sentimental gift as well. She got me a bunch of stuff, but I got it yesterday. She had sent me this package, and in it was a silver popcorn bowl.
Okay.
I knew immediately. My grandparents always had popcorn. Like, we always ate popcorn at their house. It's just such like a thing I associate with them. And it's the popcorn bowl from their house from when we were little. So she sent me that. I know.
I
And
love that.
just the sweetest. Obviously, my mom and her parents are long gone at this point, and so it was just really sweet. And she sent me pictures of us when we were kids with the popcorn bowl in it. That's like how prevalent it was, I guess. But it was just the sweetest thing ever, and I just love a sentimental gift over anything else. So I'm so excited to have that bowl and have popcorn in it.
I love that so much. Literally, I said on an episode or two ago, like I'm kind of helping my parents like clean out their house. And my siblings and I are very much like, there are so many things that we don't give a shit about. If it's like just get rid of stuff. But there are a lot of sentimental things that would make no sense to anybody else, right? If I saw a silver bowl, I'd be like, oh, it's a silver bowl. But then there's some raggedy mug that's like, no, that is worth hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars to us because it just reminds you of childhood and like good feelings. I love it.
Totally. I think like the most precious things I own are not expensive and are just those things that hold a lot of value. I mean, it's especially after somebody passes away, it's like those are we have memories and whatnot, but it's nice to have little physical things that you can have in your everyday life and be like, okay, this means the world to me because of X, Y, Z. So
yeah, little reminders.
I can tell you both of our moms are gals who have long loved gossip.
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
I just really am so excited for this new era of Gossip's Bridal and this new kind of era for us. It feels like a fresh, exciting new beginning.
I know.
Obviously, we love Cult Leader. Obviously, we love Obituary.
They're the mom and dad.
They're the mom and dad. Gossip's Bridal is, now I'll say she's their out of control teenager is the energy that I'm going to give her. And
that or their unhinged grandmother who doesn't give a fuck.
Just saying shit.
You're like, oh God, she's embarrassing. Oh my God. Fuck. We need to shut her up.
Yeah, we need to put a bridle on her.
We do.
What else has been going on?
Wait, speaking of, obviously, a Gossip's Bridal is a torture device. Why was I going down a tickling torture rabbit hole?
Was that your new kink?
I don't know, girl. I'm going to have to do an episode on it. I was like, okay.
Well, there's that documentary.
What is it?
There's a documentary about tickling.
Ooh, okay.
And apparently it's fucked up and weird. I haven't watched it. We'll watch it.
Oh my God. We're going to tickle each other.
I love to tickle, hate to be tickled.
Well, tickling used to be a form of torture.
I'd imagine so. It's being tickled sucks.
I know, but you can't do it to yourself. It's such a weird thing.
It is one of those strange things, yeah, where you can't self-inflicted tickle.
Yeah. How is this our job?
I don't know. But I'm tickled that it is.
I am tickled. Oh, something also terrible that we keep getting sent. We keep getting sent this same article. Can I read it to you guys?
Please.
This is from abc13.com. Just from last Friday, or couple Fridays ago, February 6th. It says, Houston, Texas. A Houston physician is accused of falsifying medical records, which made potential transplant recipients ineligible for organ donation. John Stevenson Bynan Jr., 66, surrendered to federal authorities and appeared before a federal judge on Thursday afternoon. According to the indictment, Bynan was the director of abdominal organ transplantation and surgical director for liver transplantation at Memorial Hermann Hospital, where, under his care, patients were allegedly activated on the United Network of Organ Sharing liver transplant waitlist while awaiting an organ donation. Investigators allege he made false claims on medical records, which affected patients' eligibility for organ donations. They added that according to court records, patients, their families, and other members of their medical care team were unaware of the false information. Many patients allegedly remained ineligible for months without knowing they could not receive donor organ offers during that time. And so, yeah, he fucked around. Could you imagine, like, you are on this list. People are on a donor list for years. And this person's falsifying the record so you don't get it?
You're playing God, and you're going to get played when it comes to the reckoning. Let me tell you that.
Crazy. It says he's performed more than 2,000 transplants, and he's been a surgeon for 40 years.
It's a dirty industry. I mean, we've done episodes. There is a dark underbelly to the transplant world. But on a positive note, I had to take Frankie girl to the vet on Sunday because I told you she fucking split open one of her toenails, which huge deal for dogs, you know. $700 at the fucking emergency vet later. You're like, thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
All because she just wanted to fucking have a good time.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, while I was there, this real nice lady was sitting next to me in the waiting room, and she's like, oh my God, she is just adorable, da da da. She had like the Reba hairdo going on, and she was just so sweet. And she was telling me, you know, her life story, which I love. And that's one of the things I love so much about living in the South is I feel like everyone just tells you their life, and I'm so naturally nosy. I want to hear it all.
Right.
This is tying in because her husband was with her there, and he was over attending to a phone call, I believe, while she was talking to me, and she was saying he just got a kidney transplant. And so she was saying, oh, I can't wait until we hit the something mark, because then we can travel again. Because I guess you can't travel for a while after getting a transplant because you need to be near the medical facility where you received it. So
that makes sense.
That just made me think of that. But
he's
doing
happy.
Great, it seemed. Yeah. Okay, well, as much as we wish everyone in our life could receive the transplant that they need, I wish I could receive a brain transplant is what I wish I could receive.
Oh my God, me too.
But some people think their family might be better off dead.
Oh, okay. Is this cult leader?
That's my transition to my asshole for the week. Because this first one says, am I the asshole for saying my friend's family would be better off dead?
Oh, probably. Okay.
No, they said, my friend Anne and I grew up in very different socioeconomic backgrounds.
No, I mean probably as in you're probably an asshole.
Oh.
Not probably they'd be better off dead.
Well, we'll see. My friend Anne and I grew up in very different socioeconomic backgrounds. Her family always struggled with money, and her inheritance will be one property in her native developing country, but split between 6 siblings. It's worth maybe £25,000 for context. On the other hand, I'm an only child in a very small but financially established family. Anne had made a few comments about this in the past that I found crude. I never mentioned the financial status of my family, but she became generally aware through natural conversation. She made comments such as asking specifically what various relatives are leaving me in their wills, if I'm looking forward to getting it, and when my grandmother, the wealthiest family member, became severely unwell, she brought up an inheritance again, almost enthusiastically. I let it slide despite this disturbing me, as on top of my grandmother being so unwell, I didn't want to fall out with friends too. I decided it wasn't malicious, but simply put it down to our different circumstances. Hearing her upset someone else with this topic triggered me though. Another friend of hers, B will inherit her father's property in a nice part of our city when the time comes. I was with Anne when B was on the phone mentioning she's going to visit her father later as he's not well. Don't worry, it won't be for long, says Anne. B is obviously confused, and Anne clarifies, I mean, your father will be gone soon, and then you'll get the property. He's really old, so it's not for much longer than it's yours.
Oh, God.
B said nothing and just hung up the phone. Anne attempts to justify what she's just said. To me, assuming I'll understand her and feel the same, I do not. She said it's selfish that people even make their children and families wait and should hand over the inheritance early rather than making everyone wait for them to die, which is so fucked up.
She feels like an SNL character. Like,
fully.
Uh-oh, she's saying the wrong shit.
The wrong shit, foot in mouth. She said that if there's no financial benefit coming while they're alive, then it's better when people's parents die earlier to inherit it from them sooner. I said, by that logic, your own family are better off dead too. She was confused and I repeated it. If people have to hand over physical money to earn their right to be considered worth being alive in old age, your own relatives should die quickly so that you get your share of their house. She said she finds this very upsetting as her family's very close and her inheritance is only small. And when she talks about others, it's life-changing amounts in more distant families. Obviously, we've now fallen out and neither of us are changing our viewpoints. So am I the asshole for what I said?
No, I don't think you're the asshole at all. I think you just gave her a taste of her own medicine and she didn't fucking like it.
Yep. Another case of people dishing it out and they can't take it.
Yep.
Also, don't talk about it with friends. And it doesn't even matter. Like, I think, like, I can, you know, all of my closest friends, I feel like so many people come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Because I feel like unless you're born into that world of extreme wealth, you're typically not surrounded by people that experienced the same.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most of the time you don't notice, but it's like, why are you, you know, or not why are you? Because I think it's natural. Things do come up in conversation sometimes, or if you really know the ins and outs of someone's lives, like maybe if they do have an inheritance, you do learn about it at some point. But I think like I think it just comes from a place of ignorance sometimes. I think it's also like money is just something that doesn't need to be talked about.
Totally. All of that. But I also know, like, we know a few people, like acquaintances that are clearly loaded and or come from crazy families on the East Coast that are probably going to inherit a ton. And I would never feel in the right to say fucking anything.
No, it is also
crazy.
like inheritances are like the lottery, in my opinion, because I know a lot of people who have received inheritances of different sizes in their lives. Like somebody maybe received $50,000 when somebody passed away, or $100,000, fucking burn through it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's also just like, I don't know. I just think people get gross about money and death.
I do too.
So not the asshole. I think giving a taste of their own medicine is absolutely true, and
I love it.
Take it as a learning lesson too. Like, okay, maybe I won't talk about this with certain people or anyone. You know?
Yeah, totally. I'm all about fighting lately.
Oh yeah.
I just want to swing on everyone, so it's fine.
Well, there was an episode that came out recently where we were talking about the Olive Garden thing, and I was laughing because I did get in a fight at the Olive Garden, and then I was laughing because I'm like, well, you got in a fight at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, what's next?
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it.
Girl, let it be while we're together. Let's fucking
let it be.
This next one says, am I the asshole for not inviting my husband to my grandfather's celebration of life?
Okay.
Hi there. My grandfather passed away in December. Did you get money?
Ooh, I hope so.
And his celebration of life is coming up this weekend. It's a 3.5-hour drive, and my cousins, all ladies and unmarried, are renting a house for the night. I told my husband that I want to go just myself, and I wanted to hang with them and send Grandpa off the way he would have wanted. My husband has taken major offense to this and says he doesn't know who I am anymore. He can't understand why I don't want him there. I told him it's not that I don't want him there. It's just that it'll be really awkward if it's just him as the only man staying at the house. He can't believe that I would not invite him. He's beyond mad. I told him he could come to the service and drive home afterwards, and I'll catch a ride home the next day. I told him this isn't about him and his feelings, and that didn't go over either. So, am I the asshole? Is the awkwardness just me? My cousins don't know him at all. Am I just projecting that? Or maybe it wouldn't be a big deal if he stayed over? Or should I have never agreed to stay the night and just came home with the hubby?
The husband, come on. Just go to the service and go home. You don't have to stay over. It's going to be all girls?
Yeah, and they're all single, it seems like, or at least not married. I mean, I get on one hand, I could understand feeling offended. Like, you don't want me to go to your grandfather's funeral? You're my wife. I care about you. I love you. I want to be there. But the whole point in being there is obviously to support her. And if she wants to have this moment with her cousins, then let her. But yeah, if you were like, hey, because if it was me personally and I was like, no, I want to go, I want to support you, I'd feel weird if I didn't go. I'd be like, hey, should I like get a hotel room or something there, and then I'll come to the service, and then we can drive back together the next day.
Yeah.
And then we could drive out together, drive back together.
Right.
I feel like that's like a good solution, right?
I do too. Yeah. I just don't like when husbands are around. like No, you know what I mean? Like she probably wants like with her girl cousins,
Girl time,
like
yeah.
girl time. It does throw it off when there's a man.
We've talked about this a million times before. It's like time and a place. It's like if you're having time with the girls, then have time with the girls. But like if you like, I don't know. It's we've gotten flack for talking about this before, so I'm choosing my words carefully.
Have
but it's
we?
like, yeah. When we've talked about Am I the Assholes, like if men should be invited to a girls' night, that kind of thing, you know?
No.
They shouldn't. But it's like there's a time and a place. Like obviously you're coming here to my house where the champ is, and obviously we're all going to hang out all weekend because that's fun. And it's like I'm excited for like the four of us to get to hang out.
Right.
But it's like if we lived in the same town, it's like there were many a night where you and I went and had our own time. And you want that for them too. If he's going and having beers with the guys, you're not like, let me get my jacket on, I'm coming too. It's like, I don't want to go.
I don't want to go. What am I going to sit there and talk about?
You need that difference, I feel like. I feel like you need that separation sometimes.
Yes, 100%. You need your own identity.
Be your own person. Be your own person. I don't think either of them are assholes. I think she's just like, oh, like these are like me and all my girl cousins are going to have a sleepover slumber party and it's going to be fun.
Like we're little kids again. And
it would be weird for him to be
husband.
there.
Yeah.
It would be weird if he was the
Yeah.
only guy in the house. Why does he need to be there? He
Yeah.
doesn't. So.
Yeah. And I don't like that. Here's the thing. Love that he is like, I love you. I want to support you. I want to be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing. You can do that and then not throw a fit or make her feel guilty when she's choosing to be, you know, with her girl cousins. Because if you do love her and care about her and want her to be okay and heal and all the grieving, then you know that it is essential for her to go and have girls' night with her cousins like she's a little kid again.
Let her. And or like I said, if you like want to go too, then go, but just like get your own place for the night, and then that way everyone's happy. That's what I would suggest.
It reminds me of the Housewives when there's been like on all the franchises and different episodes where like someone brings their husband.
We talked about that. We talked about Alex and Simon, and that's when we got in trouble for that because people are like, I think it's whatever. Again, don't care. Time and a place. Time and a place if you ask me, because next thing you know, they're the guys sitting in their car outside of your job. And I remember when I went to beauty school, I remember there would be some girls who had like crazy boyfriends who would like sit in the car and wait for them. And I'm like, I'm 17 and just got out of rehab, but I think that's toxic. Probably.
I think that's toxic, yeah. And then now we're going to get people saying, well, just because my husband shows up doesn't mean he's toxic.
No, don't twist it. Don't get it twisted. Time and a place, time and a place. But speaking of toxic, my coffin spinner this week is toxic on a whole other level. But before I get into it, you should have a little side bitch for us, girly.
Oh, girly. Do I ever? I laughed. Okay. I laughed at the headline. This is from the Daily Sentinel from 1923. And it says, military funeral for Ragged and Jackass.
What?
San Antonio, Texas, July 12th. With the casket decorated with a wreath of alfalfa and wild flowers, Ragged Ann, borough mascot of Battery F, 12th Field Artillery, was buried at Fort Sam Houston yesterday with full military honors. She was kicked to death by other mules. The grave was dug on Pershing Field. A bugler sounded taps and 4 75mm guns fired a volley. Ragged Ann died on the field of battle, a fitting death for any soldier. Lieutenant Charles M. Thurgold of Battery F told the mourners who gathered about the grave. She has done more for the Battery during the years that she was a member than anyone in it. She has won first place in everything in which she has entered. The Battery is brokenhearted over the tragic death.
I didn't realize until halfway through that it was a donkey.
I know.
I was like, why are you laughing, Diva? We're going to get us in trouble. Yeah.
Well, I'm not laughing at that it's a donkey either. I love a donkey, but I laughed at the headline. I'm like, oh my God.
Ragged jackass.
Jackass. But
Damn.
they loved her so much.
I love that she got full like military rights at the funeral.
Me too.
Beautiful.
Every animal deserves that.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'll tell you what had me spinning in my coffin this week.
All righty.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in your coffin? I heard it's toxic.
It sure is. Girly GeOffS Jeffs. This week's coffin spinner had me really spinning. I was radiating in my coffin, in fact, and it is fucked up. I mean, absolutely gruesome. We have covered radiation a few times on this show, most notably in your coffin spinner about the radium girls. But today's story is unlike anything I've ever heard before. Absolutely horrific. And we're going to go back to September 30th of 1999. We are in Tokai, Japan.
That's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's right. Do you remember?
Toxic. Just kidding.
Speaking of toxic. So from what I've read, Tokai is a hub for manufacturing. So as an example, both Yamaha and Toyota are actually based there.
Oh, wow.
And as is the Tokaimura nuclear facility, the Power Reactor and Nuclear Fuel Development Corporation radioactive waste bituminization facility. But that's a little wordy, so we'll just call it. To be exact, to be precise, we will call it just the nuclear facility. And I know we've talked about what radiation does to the body, but I needed a full breakdown. And I needed it in a way that my mind could process the information. So I went over to the subreddit thread, explain to me like I'm 5, or explain like I'm 5. You know that one?
Love that one. Yeah.
Even though Reddit is such an abyss, sometimes I feel like that group in particular is a good one because what it does is they break down otherwise complicated information in a very easy to understand manner.
Right.
Even then, I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around exactly how everything happens. Yeah. But somebody posed the question, why does exposure to radiation kill my body? Like, what exactly does it do to me?
Yeah.
And somebody wrote, radiation is bits and pieces of atoms that fly around at a high velocity. And when they hit the molecules in your body, like when they hit your DNA molecules, they can destroy them by knocking the atoms out of alignment. So most molecules can easily be repaired or replaced, like our body's always, regenerating. DNA can also be repaired for the most part, but if too much damage is done to DNA in a short amount of time, your body cannot keep up with the repairs. And when this happens, your DNA starts to accumulate errors, which can eventually lead to cell death or cancer.
Got it. But we use radiation to fight the bad.
Yes, but you have to do it very specifically to the tumor. And that's something I'd actually like to look more into because I'm not super familiar. I've been learning things, you and I both have, because unfortunately one of our best friends, her husband, is battling with cancer. And I feel like we've been learning little things here and there about how crazy the treatment is. Like, whoa, it does that. It should send us updates and kind of medical breakdowns, which has been really cool because I feel like it's educating us a lot. But I feel like a very probably minute amount of radiation. And like when you're dealing with something like that versus just being exposed to things like the radium girls were exposed to back in the day.
Right.
And if you're exposed to massive amounts of radiation, it's pretty much sayonara. Like game over, you're done.
Okay.
And we need to actually, before we talk about this 1999 incident, I want to dial it back 2 more years to 1997, because at this facility on March 11th, there was this huge incident that occurred at the facility, and it's sometimes referred to as the Donian accident.
Okay.
The facility had been, I guess, experimenting with this new formula using 20% less asphalt than normal in their mixture, which meant that the waste mixture they had was what they refer to as chemically unstable, which in this instance just means that the mixture that they were making, this is like me simplifying it, and if I'm wrong, please tear me to shreds. But the mixture can react on its own in a way that releases energy. So think like heat, gas, fire without needing an outside fire source or flame. So it doesn't need a spark or anything else to trigger a reaction in it.
Okay.
Normally, that waste, which I think is like nuclear waste, was mixed with enough asphalt or bitumen to keep everything chemically calm and contained, because the asphalt kind of binds it all together and traps the waste, which prevents it from going into like a reaction.
Okay.
I know. Girl, I know. I promise. I know. Well, I feel like it's necessary information, but I'll try and break it down clearer and clearer as we go on. But basically, they're working with this new substance, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need to know.
Okay.
And they seal it in one of the barrels that they're using. And then this chemical reaction starts taking place and starts producing a lot of heat. And then at 10 a.m., the barrel fucking ignites on fire.
Oh, no.
Because the material was already hot and already pretty much like roaring to go. Like she loved, it's like a can of hairspray. She's like, give me more. The fire spreads really rapidly to nearby other barrels and containers. And the workers are like rushing. They're trying to put it out, but they weren't equipped for this because from what I've gathered from some of the sources, it seems like they weren't really that well prepared for a disaster like this, which in my opinion is crazy because I'm like, what do you mean? You just started testing out this new experimental mixture and you're not prepared for if something goes wrong, you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're working with chemicals like that, like if you're in a nuclear facility, how do you not have the safety precautions?
Yeah, that's a big problem. So smoke fills the building. Radiation alarms are blaring. Everyone's evacuating. And not to be fucked up, but I kept thinking of The Simpsons because I feel like this happened a few times on The Simpsons because, you know, Homer worked at the nuclear facility and then he would like, like something would happen. They'd all run out or he'd like fall asleep on the job.
Eating a donut.
But the worst hadn't even happened here yet. Okay. So throughout that day, all of these gases had been building up inside the facility, and the facility is pretty well sealed because they're working with this, you know, dangerous chemicals. And at 8 o'clock that night, the gas ignites, starts on fire. The facility fucking explodes. Windows shattered. The doors are just blown off the hinges. There's smoke and radioactive material spilling out of the building into the nearby community.
Scary. Okay.
So scary. In total, 37 workers were exposed to radiation. Luckily, it was very small amounts of radiation, but a lot of people were really pissed off because instead of them immediately calling for like emergency service and biohazard teams to come, whatever, the company's like, no, we got to do our own internal investigation first and kind of see what happened.
Oh, that means this is going to be a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
We're scrambling to figure it out.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so they
allegedly,
they also allegedly instructed their employees to kind of change up events of how it all happened, the timeline of the day, how basically they're like, don't let them know that we fucked up. And officials from the facility claimed that the radiation levels outside of the plant had only risen 20%, but later it was revealed that it was like 10 times higher than that.
Wow.
So crazy. Everyone in town is pissed girly. And people are like, no, we need to make changes. They tried to enact all these rules. The facility itself was temporarily shut down. The prime minister of Japan was like, this is fucked up, like called out the company by name because they didn't report the incident right away. Unfortunately, they still took shortcuts. They ignored certain safety violations. And that is why 2 years later in 1999, we were led to something far worse, something that would produce the most severe radiation exposure to a human being in history.
Oh, God. Okay.
And so we're going to be talking about the excruciating death of a man named Hisashi Ouchi.
Okay. All right.
I was able to translate some articles that were originally printed in the Japanese press, but a lot of the information I learned in regards to Hisashi is from an article on howstuffworks.com. So shout out to them. Fast forward after the 1997 incident, right? 2 years later, in September of 1999, 35-year-old Hisashi and two of his coworkers are purifying uranium oxide to make fuel rods for a research reactor. I'm not breaking that down. We've talked enough science. In my head, they're like putting things together at the factory to like make those little green rods, you know? I'm like, that's what they're doing.
What are the green rods?
I don't know. Also goes back to, this is a callback to The Simpsons as well. Remember, they're holding like the uranium rods.
Okay. Cool.
Could be totally wrong. Anyway, one of Hisashi's coworkers comes over as Hisashi is holding a funnel over a tank, and he pours this mixture of uranium oxide into it from a bucket, which I guess he poured a lot more than he was supposed to. And then it causes a disaster immediately. There's just a big flash of blue light that comes across, like everyone sees it. And the flash meant that the tank that they were pouring everything into had basically become like a little nuclear reactor.
Oh, God. Okay.
And he
Could
was
you imagine? Could you
No.
imagine if we worked there together?
Girl, in no world could I imagine. I don't even think they would let us be the fucking janitors.
I know.
I don't think they would let us anywhere near that. But Hisashi is standing right next to this. And in seconds, his body absorbed 17 sieverts of radiation. I don't know what a sievert is, girl, but it sounds like a lot because 4 or 5 sieverts is fatal to somebody, typically. And he got 17 of those suckers.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. The radiation immediately started going to work on his body. I mean, it immediately like cleared out his immune system. That's gone. It's like
all the little atoms.
They're all getting fucked up, right?
Yeah.
He's vomiting, which is one of the first signs, I guess, of radiation sickness. And then he, along with two of his coworkers, are rushed to the hospital. And at first, the doctors were like, okay, this is going to be okay. Like, he seems fine. He seems like he's doing pretty okay on the outside. I mean, he was a healthy guy. He was 35 years old, which is very young, according to me. And he was, I guess, like a rugby player in high school. So he had the athletic history. I mean, it's not like he was weak and withering away already and blah, blah, blah. So they're like, okay, maybe he's going to come together. I read this quote on How Stuff Works that said, quote, his face was slightly red and swollen. His eyes were bloodshot, but he didn't have any blisters or burns. But he complained of pain in his ears and hands. So the doctor who examined him thought it might be possible to save his life. But within a day, his condition got worse. He began to require oxygen. His abdomen swelled, according to the book. Things continued downhill after he arrived at the University of Tokyo Hospital. 6 days after the accident, a specialist who looked at images of the chromosomes in his bone marrow cells saw only scattered black dots, indicated they were broken into pieces. His body wouldn't be able to generate new cells, and a week after the accident, he received a peripheral blood stem cell transplant, with his sister volunteering as a donor. His condition continued to deteriorate, according to the book. He complained of thirst, and when medical tape was removed from his chest, his skin started coming off with it. He began developing blisters. Tests showed that the radiation had killed off the chromosomes that normally would enable his skin to regenerate, so that his epidermis, the outer layer that protected his body, gradually vanished, which is crazy to think about because obviously, like, medical tape is strong as fuck, first of all. Like, even when you get an IV sometimes, I feel like it takes like weeks for the little glue to come off.
Yeah.
But like the skin coming off with it, and then they can see like it's not going to repair itself. He's like basically irreparable. The pain became really intense. He began experiencing breathing problems, and 2 weeks after the incident, he was no longer able to eat and had to be fed intravenously. And then 2 months into this, his heart stopped, although doctors were able to revive him. But on December 21st at 11:21 p.m., his body finally gave out. He died of multiple organ failure. It took him 83 days to die. And people are like, this had to have been the most painful death because his body's literally like blistering. His organs are also just being destroyed internally. Like, and that's when I first read about him. I had seen this thing that was talking about how this man had this 83-day excruciatingly painful death where his body was basically like disintegrating.
Oh my God.
And he was living through it. And because his atoms and DNA had been so disrupted, none of it could be repaired. There was nothing they could do other than just have him experience this slow death.
That's terrible.
Horrible. I did read that the government got involved, obviously, after this. Like, it was raised to authorities. And in 2003, 6 of the officials from that facility, when this happened, were given suspended prison terms, which I believe means that they probably won't ever serve time for it. But I thought it was really interesting because I can't remember if we covered this, but I looked into a little bit like what happens when somebody dies of radiation. Like what are like the precautions that you have to take when you bury them?
I'm sure there's like going in the ground or cremating. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's really interesting.
So if the person died with exposure to radiation, but they didn't have any actual contamination, they don't have to do anything different, and they can do like a standard autopsy and standard burial. But in a nuclear event or radiological event, if there's radioactive materials that contaminated the deceased, they have to be surveyed, and they do have to be buried differently sometimes. According to the Radiation Emergency Medical Management's website, they do not do autopsies on internally contaminated bodies unless it's absolutely necessary. Pathologists performing the autopsy may receive significant radiation doses to their hands if they're working on them. And if an autopsy is absolutely necessary, they will refrigerate the decedent and defer the procedure until a health physicist can assist in planning the autopsy. And when it comes to funeral home guidelines, it can affect the staff at a funeral home as well. They avoid embalming or working with the deceased that they don't know how much they were dosed with when they died. Body fluids may be drained into the sewers. And then funeral home directors can reject radioactively contaminated decedents not properly decontaminated. So if they're not covered in like super tight protection, and they typically do not cremate internally contaminated decedents because it can push it out into the air and cause radioactive contamination of the facility and environment, which is highly likely. And then if they bury someone who was contaminated in a case like Hisashi's, they have to make sure that it's completely sealed. But that also it releases pressure from inside of the casket so that it doesn't cause some sort of reaction. And then the vaults that they have to use also need to be very, very tightly sealed. And there's different numbers and calculations they use to determine numbers wise, like what level it's at. But they got to seal those suckers.
That's scary. Do we know where he's buried or if he was buried or?
I'm not sure. I didn't see any information about his funeral or like aftercare of the body. I think his death just made headlines because of the unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah, they probably wanted to keep it private after, you know?
I would imagine so.
Or I would imagine if he was buried, like, this sounds bad, but I would assume if a cemetery was willing to bury him being that radioactive, they probably would want to keep it hush hush.
I wonder if there's ever been radioactive cemeteries.
I know. I was just thinking that.
Something to look into for a different day.
Yes.
But that is what had me spinning in my coffin this week.
Oh my gosh, that was toxic. That was sad.
It was
sad.
But
interesting. Very
informative.
Interesting. Yes.
Now we know how nuclear radiation works.
Perfect. Perfect.
I learned it on a podcast, guys. Go apply for radiation jobs.
Oh my God, scary. Well,
let's take one more quick break. And when we come back, we'll hear what had you spinning in your coffin this week.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Hey, who are you talking to? Me?
What?
Madison, what had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Oh, girlies and divas, we are getting a part 2 of something from me. Can you believe it?
Dropping a number 2.
Dropping a deuce on all of you. So many episodes ago, I talked about people who died on stage. And as tragic as it really was a very interesting deep dive, and just the amount of times where people thought, oh, this is part of the act. This is part of the comedy. This is part of, the show.
Yeah.
Was so interesting. And so I have a lot more stories to talk about. Okay. So we're just going to get into it, really bring these people who've passed on back to the stage.
Let's do it. Let's give them a final applause.
A final applause. And this first one is crazy. It happened in 1673. So we're going back, okay? We have John Baptiste Picquel. I did the translation, and that's what it told me, okay?
Okay.
But he is known by his stage name more so, and that is Molière. Okay, so he is a famous French playwright and an actor. And he was performing in his play that he wrote called Les Malades Imaginaires, which translates to, this is very archaic language, but the imaginary invalid, which basically means this person's a hypochondriac. That's like what the play was based on. It was about a man who's obsessed with an illness and thinks that he's dying like all the time.
Me.
I can't even look at you because I knew you were going to say that. Well, okay. Molière himself is playing the lead role. And during the performance, he starts coughing violently and collapses. But the audience is like, oh, this play, like it's ironic. Like this play is about a man who thinks he's dying all the time. Like, oh, this is just this is part of the play. It wasn't. He collapses. He then gets back up and is like, I am going to finish this fucking play. And he collapses again and dies a few hours later. I guess he had tuberculosis and he was hemorrhaging on stage.
Oh.
So he literally died pretending to be dying on stage. But
did you see Hamnet?
No, and you were the first person to say that it is the most beautiful movie.
Gut-wrenching.
I see everybody say that. Like, you will cry.
I'm going to make you watch it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll just cry together.
Okay.
Just sob.
Right. I don't know if I want to sob.
Well, then we'll watch the tickling documentary after that.
Perfect. Okay, that's more up my alley. Okay, but interesting. I guess I was like reading that there were like 2 priests that refused to read him his last rites, and then a third one finally did. And then there was like a bunch of drama with his burial. A lot of like churchyards would not let him be buried there because he was an actor. And like at the time, actors were like, oh, you're not going to be buried here. But also, there is a theater superstition, and I didn't know this. And I, again, went down another rabbit hole about theater superstitions, and there are a ton of them.
Oh, yeah.
But one of them is that I guess actors, when they like, you're not supposed to wear green on stage. It's bad luck. And that superstition allegedly comes from Moliere because he was wearing green when he died.
I haven't heard that one. I mean, I was a theater kid.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I haven't heard that one, though.
Yeah. I've obviously never heard of it, and I guess it's a thing. But also in early theater, actors avoided wearing green because the pigment used to make green costumes could be toxic and it could poison the people. Like, I guess it was
They were
made
using
of,
uranium.
well, copper salts and like acidic stuff. I guess urine they would use to dye.
All that shit was so
Costumes.
toxic. I mean, remember even I did that Cult Leader episode on the Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Or like Hollywood Horror Stories. That's the one I did with Tina. And
Yes.
we talked about like even the makeup that they used on the Tin Man was
Yes.
so fucking toxic. Yeah.
Terrible.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's Moliere. He died at least doing what he loved.
R.I.P. Yeah.
R.I.P. Next, we have Ty Longley. And this happened in 2003, and it is horrifying. Ty Longley was a guitarist for the band Great White, and they were playing a show in Rhode Island. During the show, I guess they had set off indoor pyrotechnics, which ignited the foam on the soundproofing in the club.
Oh.
Within minutes, the whole club was engulfed in flames, and 98 people died that day, including Ty. He was trapped inside. And I was like researching him, and his son posted this like Instagram tribute to him, and he was talking about his dad and how he had never actually met his dad, but his dad died a hero. I guess he used his guitar to like smash open windows for people to get through. Like he helped so many people. But yeah, he was trapped inside because of that fire. And that fire is, I guess, one of the deadliest nightclub disasters in US history. And then I saw that it was like the deadliest firework accident because pyrotechnics are considered fireworks. But it did change a lot of safety laws for venues, which is the only good that came from it. And it's known as the Station Nightclub Fire. Like, it has its own Wikipedia. It's a big thing. Very sad. Next, I didn't realize, I know wrestling is dangerous, but I also know that it's very choreographed, and you have to be fucking talented to do this. There are a lot of deaths associated with wrestling in the ring. So I have 2 deaths that I want to talk about that happened in the ring in front of everybody, and there's video footage. So first we have Luther Lindsay, and this incident happened in 1972. Luther, like, Cisco's a huge wrestling fan, loves it. I don't know much about wrestling, but Luther Lindsay, I guess, was one of the most famous wrestlers and one of the most famous wrestling deaths. So he was wrestling in Charlotte, North Carolina. This was 1972. And he is going and like hits his finishing move, and he pins his opponent. The referee is there like counting down like 1, 2, 3. When the referee gets to 3, Luther Lindsay, who beat his opponent, is on top of his opponent, does not get up. During his finishing move, he has this massive heart attack. His opponent is a wrestler named Bobby Paul. He's pinned under him and realizes something is wrong because he's not getting up. The crowd goes wild, thinks it's fully part of the performance, but Lindsay is dead. He's dead on top of him. He was only 47 years old. I didn't realize how much Luther Lindsay has like done for just history. Like, he's pretty iconic. He is in the WWE Hall of Fame, and I just want to read you a little bit about him, what they said about him. It says, quote, "Most notably, he competed in the first interracial match in the history of Texas and became the first African American to challenge for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Not only did Lindsay train under Stu Hart, it goes on to say he also holds the rare distinction of having defeated Stu in the dungeon itself, which earned Lindsay such a degree of respect that Hart carried a picture of him in his wallet for 50 years.
Oh.
That's sweet.
That is sweet.
I know. There's so many wrestling fans, like I feel like undercover wrestling fans too, that I'm like, oh, you like wrestling?
We would
like,
probably love it. I feel like I've never given it a fair shot. We maybe next week when I'm just at your house and it's just us, maybe we just watch some wrestling.
I would love that.
I feel like 90s was a really good era for it. I did have Stone Cold Steve Austin boxers when I was a kid. So
cool. Yeah, my brother loved Hacksaw, and he would always Hacksaw always did this and he always made me
love
do it.
all their intros. Maybe that's our next tour is wrestling themed.
I think
Obituary. We come out, we fucking Obituary, bitch. We fucking body slam each other. We're wearing latex outfits.
Oh my God. I know Hulk Hogan would say, like, look at these 24-inch pythons. Oh, I think we should do it. Let's see. It has to be genuine. We have to see. I think that we're going to get a fucking kick out of it.
I do too.
No pun intended. Yeah.
I think last time I was at your house, I was deadlifting you. This time, I'm putting you in a fucking headlock, bitch.
Oh, I know how to do headlocks. Like that. Yeah, you're going to get it, actually.
Wait, hold on. Let me react to it.
Yeah, you're going to get it. I'm going to...
I'd like to see you try.
I'm going to do it! That's going to be my voice. Crazy.
We'll give you Liberty Spikes.
Yeah, I want to be crazy, girl.
Okay, who's next?
Okay, so still wrestling.
Okay.
We have Pero Aguayo Jr., and it's very disturbing. I watched the video last night. I don't want to post it here because it just feels disrespectful. But he was wrestling in 2015 in Tijuana, Mexico. It was a live wrestling match. His real name is Pedro Aguayo Ramirez, and he wasn't just some random wrestler. He is basically lucha libre royalty. His father is Pero Aguayo Sr., who was the biggest wrestling star in Mexico.
Okay, so he's
biggest.
A big deal. Did they wear the cool masks?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
With this one, it was 2015, so I love a vintage mask like that. This was more I don't know. You think of it's a little scarier, but he had a mask on. That night, he was wrestling in a tag team match against Rey Mysterio and then another wrestler named Manic.
Rey Mysterio, I know.
You know what? I think he's in the WWE or, one of those.
Yeah.
Now, okay, well, you're going to learn something about him. So during the match, Rey Mysterio kicks Pero with a drop kick, which that's a move that's literally been done hundreds of times in wrestling. And it's obviously choreographed. He knows it's going to happen, right? The kick knocks Pero into the ropes, and then you see him go completely limp. You see him slump over. So he kicks him in the back and then gets slammed into the ropes, hangs over the ropes. Okay. It looks very much he's acting, But he's limp. He's very fucking limp.
He's
and
dead.
I saw it from different angles too. So yeah, he's not just selling the injury. He's limp. Okay. Everybody thinks, this is just part of it because the match is still going on. 2 minutes. It goes on for 2 minutes. They're slamming around. They're he's getting kind of thrown around. He kind of falls out even lower. Like it's crazy to watch. And then you start seeing, as the wrestling match is going on, you see like a staff member come up like to the ring and start like shaking him like, yo, like, is this a joke or like what's going on? Shaking him, shaking him, shaking him. He is not waking up. He unfortunately is dead. He's, I guess, suffered a severe cervical spine trauma that like instantly stopped his breathing.
Oh.
He was taken to the hospital and officially pronounced dead early the next morning. And he was only 35 years old.
A baby.
A baby. And, you know, it's so tragic on all parts. I was reading like they launched an investigation, like, you know, was this on purpose? Like all that. No, it's terrible. And so I was like, where is Rey Mysterio now? Like, how do you even deal with that? Like, fully an accident. It's their job, you know? So Sports Illustrated interviewed him, and I have it linked, but he said, quote, Mysterio experienced tragedy this past March while wrestling in Mexico when his opponent, 35-year-old Pero Aguayo, suffered a fatal injury in the ring after a Mysterio dropkick. That something like that would even occur, said Mysterio, who choked up and struggled to speak upon hearing Aguayo's name. You always think of the worst injury, but never that situation. In this case, it was absolutely that. He continues, he says, we lost the biggest superstar that Mexico has ever seen. There were so many plans moving forward that would have been incredible. When I meet great people in this industry, I like to let them know they are great human beings. Pero was definitely one of them. He was so warm-hearted, kind, and respectful. Just like there will never be another Eddie, there will never be another Pero. So he's, you know, I could only imagine felt
the guilt from that. Terrible.
Fucking terrible. All right, so we have another tragedy that happened in 2017 in France. There is a French singer named Barbara Weldens, and all of the articles that I've read about her said like she was super talented and she was up and coming. Like she was going to be the next big thing.
Okay.
When she performed, I guess it was very like theatrical. Like she emoted a ton of emotion and used the stage, like all of it. And it was very much a performance. But fun fact, she was raised in the circus, which I thought was interesting. And Entertainment Weekly, which by the way, their website is ew.com, which I thought was funny. They said, quote, before beginning to play piano and write poetry and songs in her adolescence, Weldon spent her childhood mastering juggling, acrobatics, and the art of the trapeze under the guidance of her parents. Learning how to ride a monocycle at the age of 5, she led a nomadic existence in her early years with a traveling circus.
Love.
Pretty interesting. But also, when she was on stage, she would not wear shoes, I guess. She was just always performed barefoot. So in July of 2017, she is performing at a music festival called Leo Fair. The concert was being held inside of this like 16th century church that had been converted into a performance space. And during the performance, she's singing, she's moving across the stage barefoot, and then suddenly she collapses. The audience initially thinks that it's part of her act because she is pretty theatrical, but she never got up. 911 or whatever emergency services were called immediately, and she was pronounced dead. She was only 35 years old, and so authorities launch an investigation, and the final findings, I guess, of that investigation suggested that she was electrocuted.
God, a lot of 35-year-olds.
I know. Scary. We're 35.
We are.
But yeah, I guess they think she was electrocuted because she was barefoot, and the venue had temporary wiring installed for the concert. So it was probably like shoddy.
Scary.
I know. And some reports describe that like the exact cause was uncertain, but strongly suggest electrocution. Either way, the festival was canceled right after her death.
Damn.
And then lastly, but similarly, we have Les Harvey, and this happened in 1972. He was a guitar player for Stone the Crows. I guess It's like he was Scottish. I'm assuming they were Scottish, but I guess this band was doing really well in the 70s, like gaining traction. I think his name is Peter Grant from Led Zeppelin was like their manager. I don't know. They were on their way.
Yeah.
But on May 3rd, 1972, they were performing a show in Wales. And during the performance, Les Harvey walks up to the microphone to sing like backing vocals. He's holding his guitar, his electric guitar, and he touches the microphone and he's instantly electrocuted. He collapses on stage in front of the audience. And I guess they found that the microphones weren't properly grounded. So basically, like the microphone casing.
Yeah.
It was like the electricity was live, I guess.
God.
And because he was holding his guitar, which was connected to an amplifier, it created
the current.
It completed the circuit with his body. So he was electrocuted.
Oh my God.
Some reports say, like, the people that were there were like, oh, we saw a spark when he touched the microphone. Like, it was crazy.
Jeez.
He died shortly after, and he was only 27 years old.
The 27 Club.
The 27 Club. And I don't hear him referenced in it, which he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very sad. Very scary.
All of them are sad, but all of these people died doing what they love. And honestly,
truly,
even though it's tragic, I want to die instantaneously. I do not want some drawn out fucking illness. Please.
I know.
Let me just drop dead. Let me drop dead on stage doing what I love.
I know. Truly. I know. It's brutal.
At an old age. Let us be fucking 80 years old on stage doing our cabaret act that we'll inevitably do one day. Smoking inside.
Yeah.
And just...
and our oxygen tanks blow. Because totally.
Love
it.
Well, no matter when you die, you deserve an obituary. Well, not everyone, but it is time for obituaries. And I have one for this man named Herbert Harris.
Herbert Harris?
It says, Herbert G. Harris, the senator, a man who never met a stranger, a free drink he wouldn't accept, or a competition he didn't believe he could win, officially wrapped up his earthly adventures on December 7th, 2025.
Oh.
Finding things down here a bit repetitive, and heaven in need of better snacks, louder televisions, and improved meat smoking techniques, he decided it was time to take his talents upstairs. Born August 15th, 1948 in Shreveport, Louisiana, to Floyd and Atherline Harris, he was the second-born child and wasted no time establishing himself as both memorable and mischievous. Raised in Minden and a proud graduate of Princeton High School, he carried his Louisiana roots with him everywhere. A man of many talents and even more opinions, he served 2 tours in the U.S. Army during Vietnam, holding titles that included Ranger, Postman, Chef, and Recruiter. Sometimes all in the same conversation. After military service, he retired from a long career at Chevron as a chemical operator and promptly reinvented himself again, this time as an IT specialist with the Veterans Administration, proving once and for all that he could do just about anything he set his mind to.
Aww.
Formerly trained at Le Cordon Bleu, his favorite foods remained cookies, candy, and on rare and questionable occasions, roadkill. He was known for smoking meats using an amount of hickory wood best described as aggressive while watching television at a volume detectable several zip codes away. His favorite sports team was whichever one happened to be winning him money that week, and his favorite sport was naturally the same. Well-traveled and endlessly observant, he could recount the cities he visited with great accuracy, particularly those that smelled bad. He was a lover of adventure, mischief, game rooms, westerns, naps, foul jokes, and good times. A practical joker, smooth talker, and loyal friend, he offered wise counsel whether requested or not. He was preceded in death by his parents, Floyd and Atherline Harris, and his older sister, Shirley Dillard. He is survived by his loving wife, Arnita, daughter, Tanya, grandchildren, stepdaughter, grandson, sisters, host of nieces, nephews, friends, and acquaintances who likely still owe him a drink or money. A true jack of all trades and undeniably the most interesting man in the room, he lived life entirely on his own terms with determination, charm, and a spirit that refused to be tamed. He will be missed dearly, laughed about often, and remembered always.
That's beautiful.
I loved it.
What a great way to capture someone's essence.
Totally.
Like, it was fun and told his whole story. I loved that.
It reminds you the point of an obituary, which I feel like is to like let you really know about a person.
Yeah, and not be bored reading it.
Yeah.
Like, it really, really was interesting. I loved that.
Who do you got?
I have an obituary for a cool sounding woman, okay? This is from 1930, the Des Moines Register, and she was famous. It says, Poker Alice, hands in chips.
Ooh.
Cigar smoking woman dies at age 77.
Love her.
Rapid City, South Dakota. The lingering handful of picturesque characters of the Old West was decreased Thursday with the death of Poker Alice Tubbs. In contrast with the rough life she had led in wide-open mining towns of the 19th century, Poker Alice died in a modern hospital surrounded by comforts she never before had known. Which, when I read that, I was like, whoa, that must be crazy. Like,
yeah.
She's an Old West woman, and then now she's in some modern hospital. It's crazy. 3 weeks ago, the 77-year-old woman, whose real name was Mrs. Alice Tubbs, underwent an operation for gallstones. Resulting complications together with infirmities of age caused her death. Poker Alice grew up with all the romantic characters of the gold rush days in the Black Hills. As a faro dealer, she came to be known throughout the region, numbering among her associates Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, Deadwood Dick, and other characters. A rambling cabin on the north side of Bear Butte Creek was home to Poker Alice for many years. Following the decline of the mining boom, she remained in the Black Hills. The cigars she smoked were said to be as strong as the language she used. Arrested a few years ago on a liquor charge, she was saved from a prison term by Governor W.J. Bulow. In pardoning her, he said he could not send an old white-haired woman to prison.
Love her. What a lady.
What a rebel. I know.
God, well, speaking of rebels, Madison, I can't wait to talk about these next guys. We have spun in our coffins.
Oh, we have bitched our obituaries.
Means it's time for some dumb
ass
criminals. Okay, get fucking ready. Okay, I'm sending you a picture.
Okay. Oh, no. What am I looking at? What is that?
Well, that is a 61-year-old woman named Gina Renee Gamble. I don't know who's the dumbass here. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. She was charged with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. And 3 officers, as you can see in that picture, are holding her down to the ground. Amidst criticism from spectators, she was actually out protesting at a No Kings protest in Fairhope.
Okay.
And she had worn a phallic costume. She had worn a penis costume.
I thought that was a penis. Okay.
And she was charged with resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, both misdemeanors. But this article says, quote, the officer approached the woman and requested she remove the costume, which is deemed obscene in a public setting. However, she refused to comply. The rally was one of over a dozen protests happening in the state Saturday. The protests were peaceful with no major incidents reported. A message seeking additional comment was left with the Fairhope Police Department Monday, but unsuccessful. Miss Gamble was peacefully expressing her point of view on Saturday. Her violent arrest for expressing herself in ways the police found rude is indefensible morally and legally. That came from a statement from her lawyer. Basically, they were just like, it's her First Amendment right. Fucking let her. So, Gina, you have the right to protest, but I don't know if you actually can protest in a penis costume. Would I allow it? Sure, but
right.
I guess it is technically obscene.
Yeah, true.
But I do.
Sorry, girl.
But thank you for doing that because I love having the imagery of 3 police officers tackling a giant penis.
Giant penis, and it's a 60-something-year-old woman. Love that. Love
God.
that.
Who do you have?
All right. Well, this was sent in to us, and this is from our Geoff Laura. And it says, I love you guys. I listen while I'm doing things around my house. You keep me motivated. Hashtag ADHD. And we fucking know. Anyway, last week when Madison mentioned the person who was injured on a roller coaster, it sparked a memory of a tragic accident that happened in my local area. Although tragic, he was a dumbass criminal. I have attached a few articles about the incident. It was major news that summer, and since I grew up living very close to the amusement park, it was surreal to think about it happening at a place I visited so often as a child. I hope you find this interesting. Yes, you can use my name. Well, that's it. Love you guys. And she did attach a couple articles. I could not get the sites to work, so I went and Googled it. And this is from WCPO.com, and it's a wild story. This is in Ohio. Our editor will love that. It's always Ohio.
Ohio.
The man who was hit by the Banshee roller coaster Wednesday night has died. The coroner has identified the man as 38-year-old Arntanero Nelson. In a statement, Kings Island said Nelson entered a restricted, fenced area at the Banshee around 8 p.m. and was believed to have been struck by the ride. A witness said Nelson told a greeter at the Banshee ride that he needed to get back on the ride because he lost something. That always happens. A worker told him there was nothing they could do until the ride closed. According to the witness, Nelson continued to wander near the ride and eventually went through a restricted gate. Nelson was dressed similarly to Kings Island employees, so some assumed he was a manager or a worker. Mason police said Thursday that Nelson had been trying to retrieve his lost keys. The witnesses said a person riding in the front row told them it sounded like they hit a deer at the time of the accident. Nelson was taken to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Kings Island's focus continues to be on the welfare of guests and his family. So I guess he's not really a dumbass criminal.
Well,
but
you're a dumbass for fucking breaking into a amusement park right where a ride is.
I know. It goes on to say the ride opened in April of 2014 and Kings Island said it is 4,124 feet long with 7 inversions and is, quote, the world's longest steel inverted roller coaster.
Did he die?
He died.
Oh, hitting a deer, just that. Ooh.
I know, but he broke the rules and, he trespassed.
Madison says, well, you trespass, you die.
No, but I do want to do an episode of ignored warnings or
I think we have, no?
I don't think we have.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a good one. Or maybe you've just told me you want to do that.
Yeah, I think I probably have. So yeah, I don't think it's fair to call him a dumbass criminal.
No.
But he did something criminal.
And dumb.
And dumb.
And dumb.
So technically, yeah, terrible. If you lose something on a roller coaster, bye. Don't get it.
Someone can die dumb and it's still sad.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
It's not a perfect world. If, you walk out of the exit of an airplane while it's in the sky, it's a dumb thing to do and you probably died.
Well, true.
So don't do that tomorrow when you're flying to sea.
I'm going to do it.
Don't you do it. You're going to end up on the no-fly list.
Oh, my God, I know. Well, I got to go pack.
Go pack, and we'll be back next week with some more coffin spinners.
And obituaries.
And dumb
ass
criminals. Bye,
tickle,
babies
tickle,
and honey.
tickle.
Tickle, 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 tickle. Bye, baby.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.